Now, I would like to move towards the last session of today. I will not take much time. So I want to invite and welcome Dr. Sovik Ganguly. He has joined and he's with us. So here I want to give a formal introduction of Dr. Sovik Ganguly. Dr. Sovik Ganguly has completed his PhD in the area of system identification and control from Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala. He did his MTech in Mechatronics Engineering from National Institute of Technical Teachers Training and Research and BTech in Electrical Engineering from Kalyani University, West Bengal. He is associated with Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, Patiala as an assistant professor since June 2009 with 14 years of experience in academics. Before joining academics, he has served the industry for more than 2 years. He has organized several workshops and expert lectures for the students. He has also worked as a session chair, keynote speaker, conference organizer, and reviewer in top IEEE, Elsewhere, and Springer journals. He has published 9 SEI and SEIE journal papers and nearly 50 Scopus Index papers, book chapters, and conference papers. Recently, he has been granted 14 Australian innovation patents for his contribution in control systems and power electronics. Three of his Indian patents are already published and are awaiting grants. He has also got his research copyright registered, working on the development of a mobile app to empower telemedicine. He has been serving as the president of Eureka Prize Problem, a student society in Thapar Institute for promoting research activities among undergraduate students. You know, this profile is so long that I will take too much time to read it. So I want to, sum up here only. And really, sir, when I was reading your profile, I was finding, oh my God, this is also there, that is also there. So you have so many expertise and wonderful work you have done in research also. So I'm finding so good here that I'm introducing you. Thank you so much for joining us. And sir, the virtual platform is for you. You please
Okay,
take this session. Thank you so much.
okay, ma'am. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, let me share my PPT then. I think I'll give half an hour's time, right, for presenting.
Yes, sir.
Uh, yeah, is my slide visible to?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, fine. So, a very warm welcome from the organizers. So, straight away moving into the topic, as you have been a very long tiring session. So, it will be on activity based teaching in our online assessment or online environment that we had been experiencing for the last 1.5 years. So all of us, being from the teaching fraternity, we are expecting that we should see something new over here, and we'll try to introduce the concept of activity-based teaching, which is our agenda for today. And we'll be also going through some of the techniques or some of the activities which we have practiced for the last 1.5 years. Mostly, uh, if you are from the teaching background, most of us have these practices. So, if you are not from teaching, definitely you need to incorporate them in your future teaching aspects. So, we would expect that in my audience, we have some teachers, we have some teachers from different backgrounds, from the colleges, from the schools as well. And we expect that those who are not teachers, at least those are in research, those are in uh, uh, those are into will be into teaching in some years to come. So this is the challenge which we started with, since we have faced the lockdown and post lockdown effects we have seen already. I would like to emphasize a little bit about how much do we retain from our regular lectures and how much do we retain it on active learning. So active learning will be the focus part of today's lecture or today's talk, and it will be on the part that we are going to discuss. We will discuss some of the concepts, some of the techniques, but you can go back and you can explore the learning materials, the literature materials. There are several innovative techniques being applied by the different educators. So this is just an eye opener, or maybe that some of you are already practicing it for the last 1.5 years to engage your students. So this is the percentage. If you see the blue line, you'll find that the retention percentage is very low if you have a very monotonous lecture. So we need to introduce some sort of an activity in between, some sort of an active learning in between, some case study, some discussion, some group quizzing, or things of that sort. Some discussions, some group study also even. One of the platforms which we have been using in our Zoom platform is a breakout room. So that is a very good way to discuss amongst the groups and get something out of it. And students, if they are discussing with their peers, they learn more than their teachers even, honestly speaking. So this is some of the aspects that we have tried to highlight based on the research, that we retain around 10% of what we read, we retain 20% of what we hear, and we retain 30% if we visualize anything. And if we both visualize and hear it, we can at least retain 50% of it. So apart from that, when we are looking for when you are reading it alone, it's the retention is only 10%. So if you are hearing something in your lectures, if you are attending any lectures, you can get some more ideas into. And if you visualize, you are able to look at some certain graphs and definitely watch a video, watch a movie, or simply based on a particular topic, you get it into more. So this is a part which will gradually, it is increasing as we are able to relate more and more with the visualization and what we hear, and how do we engage ourselves actively in a classroom, in an online environment, of course, because my emphasis will be on the online aspects. Now, these are several aspects that we do. This we had already been following before pandemic. Even sometimes we being in an engineering college, we had been practicing these things, these exercises beforehand. But now is the main challenge of putting these activities online or engaging the students online, because normally when it's a very long session of 40-50 minutes, obviously the students will get bored. So we have to engage them, we have to make them feel that they learn by doing something, they inquire in between, they have a group in between, where we discussed about the breakout rooms where they can discuss it in groups as well. And they can also we can put in some problems. Say for example, I normally teach any analytical course. If I'm teaching any analytical course, that has some tutorial sessions as well, so we can engage them with some problems. We can try to develop the concepts in them through some problems, through some practical examples. Of course, debate and discussions or brainstorming sessions will be there, but mostly it will relate to the humanities-based courses. Brainstorming activities can also be done during the class, and of course we can in the online lectures, between the lectures, we can ask some questions, we can put some questions, we can raise some questions, and at the same time we get to the real feel of the subject or the real feel of the technology as well. So what is the purpose of activity-based teaching, which we are giving a nomenclature as ABT? We can increase in this activity-based process. We can engage the students. We can expect that more and more students will be participating in our discussions. Of course, when we are talking about active learning, and we have shown that what we can visualize or what we can engage through some activities, we can retain more. So obviously it will increase our student retention. It will make the student ownership in a particular course, and preferably by this activity-based teaching or active learning, whatever we call it, we'll be having less number of lecturing from the instructors. So the ownership should gradually shift from the teacher to the learner. So it should be from the ownership of the learners or the students in the course rather than on the instructor. So it will be a pleasuring experience. It will be a whole new set of online experience in the classroom that you get. The students get excited. The students don't feel to sit on in the class and put on their earphones and listen to you for hours and hours. So it will be some activity. It will be some active learning, some more student participation, some more engagement of the students, and of course it can lead to some higher level of thinking amongst the students. Once they start exploring, they can give you some higher end thinking as well. Now, how to improve upon, although we had been practicing so many of these things when we had it offline as well, but when it comes to a new environment, we have to be prepared for each and every of these to improve upon and to focus on active learning or activity-based teaching. So what is the first point that we want to mention? That is planning your objective, that what will be your, just as I told you in the beginning, that what we are going to take upon, we are going to explain activity-based teaching. We will be demonstrating some of the techniques or by virtue of which you can improve upon, and so that you carry it further in future to your teaching career. So of course, I have planned my objectives. I have used some graphical means, some graphical tools to engage you with some figures, that how will you retain it, what are the different aspects of activity-based teaching, or what are the different aspects of the active learning, and how do we learn it through some brainstorming sessions. We have included some facts and figures, some graphical representations to make you understand. Although I have not used annotations, but we have in the Zoom platform some uses means to annotate every time, which I normally do in my lecture delivery, as because it is a completely analytical course that we normally teach in the engineering colleges. So of course, time and again we'll be highlighting, engaging yourself for some annotations, uttering your important points, or giving some highlights on the important points, of course. And of course, you can use your bullet points as well, or some highlighters, or some brackets in which you can put some important points. You put short activities. Short activities are definitely helpful. You have to engage your students, because many a times the lecture becomes monotonous for the students, and they do not actually listen. They just they log in and they just sit idle. So you need to break their idleness and come out of it with some activity-based projects or something of that sort. In engineering, we find it very easy. We put a problem, we ask that how to do it, what are the different concepts that are involved, and this is how we have to go about it. So you have to divide your lecture into some short activities so that they can engage themselves. Now give the students some time to generate questions. So of course, it should be not a one-way process, but a two-way interaction. They should also interact. They can ask you in between. You can pause somewhere in between. You can give a pause of 1 or 2 minutes. Ask the questions. Ask the students to raise some questions. Okay. If they are not raising, you can alternatively ask them so that you get to know that whether they are listening or not, whether they are into or whether they are live in the session or they are absolutely dormant in the session, right? So you need to also sometimes summarize your major points. Definitely, we need to have a summary that what we started with and what we arrived at and what we are going to take on in our next lesson. So this is how. Another important point is to learn your names of the students. If you call them by names, certainly they will be alerted. They will be definitely seeing that your teacher is noting or putting some names or some activities behind you that you have to do. The students will naturally get sincere to listen to each and every instruction of yours. So it's a very good practice. Normally it's a very good practice to remember the students' names. Some of the popular active techniques that we practice: think, pair, share. This is a very important technique, and that we have been practicing for almost 2-3 years when they were in offline classes as well. So we used to put them in some lab assignments, some laboratory assignments. We used to put them some tutorial problems and make them a group of 4 or 3, and we'll ask them questions after the brainstorm, those things. Role playing, of course, those who are teaching the humanities-based courses, they are more accustomed to the role playing part. Simulations, of course, definitely when we propose to design something in an engineering part, be it from electronic point of view, from electrical point of view, from mechanical point of view. So definitely the first thing you need to do is to simulate that particular experiment. And of course, you need to clear upon some of the muddiest points, some of the important points time and again, so that some highlights, some discussions on the concept clarity part that should be there. Group quizzing, definitely. If you are having some quiz, if you have some quizzes in between in the class, at the end of the class, at maybe 2 minutes or 5 minutes, you can engage them for a group quizzing and check out that whether they have learned or not. You can engage them in some group study as well, in order to do a project, in order to do an assignment. Minute papers, some 1-minute paper or 2-minute papers can be there. Writing assignments, definitely. Encourage them to go for some individual or some group assignments as well. Give them some case studies so that they think over, so that their thinking abilities, they get nurtured. Some problem-based learning. So definitely give some problem and try out to so that they can find out some solution. They can come up with the solutions. Some concept maps, what they have learned. If they are able to develop some block diagrams, some concept maps, well, these are some of the activities or some of the techniques that you may try out with your, I think most of you in this participant list are from the teaching background, and perhaps they have been practicing these sort of things time and again. But we try to recollect, we try to make them in a single presentation so that you people can benefit out of it. So these are some of the suggestions that you can have. So first, before we begin a lecture, normally we tell that what we are going to discuss and why is it so, what are the important concepts, what are my expectations too. Definitely you need to highlight upon your expectations from the class so that they get to know that what are the parameters on which they will be assessed as well. So incorporate some assessments which involves these activities like quizzes, like assignments, right? So start off simple means the students must be having a very comfortable feel at the beginning of your lecture. Ask some questions in between. Be attentive to the questions that are being raised by the students as well. So these are some of the suggestions by virtue of which we can improve upon. We all can improve upon. So this is all from my side. I think if you have any queries, please over to the organizers.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a very brief and a wonderful informative session. Even I can see some compliments in the chat box. People are praising that it was a brief, crisp, and very informative session. They have taken many takeaways, and I'm sure all the participants are happy and delighted to listen today's sessions, because all these speakers have given wonderful informations to us, and which will be really beneficial for us in our future classes and the teaching. Most of the people are from the teaching background and they are in the teaching profession, and time to time all these things are required to use in our teaching learning and the teaching profession. So thank you so much, Sovik sir. I would like to request participants, if any one of you is having any doubt or anything which you want to share and ask Sovik sir, so it is welcome.
I think I have a question. I can see one participant have asked to throw some light upon the think, pair, and share.
Yes.
This is basically you can put some problems, you can put some case studies, you can put some activities and form a group constituting of 3 to 4 or even 5, and engage them to some thinking abilities, right? Say for example, you put some activity that they are supposed to do in a laboratory session, some laboratory assignments, or some tutorial problems which they are going to solve, some assignments which they are going to solve. So we can brainstorm them, we can have their discussions, we can listen to their discussions after say 5 or 7 minutes, which they discussed amongst themselves, and come up with the solution, with the possible solutions. And this is the best way that we can use it online as well, through the Zoom platform, that we have some breakout room features. I don't have any idea that whether we have a similar feature in other platforms like Google Meet, which we are using currently. But in Zoom platform, we have breakout rooms where you can engage these activities, or you can put say 5-7 students in a particular breakout room, and you enter into that room, listen to their discussions, and correct if you want to correct them anywhere if they are wrong somewhere. So this is how your think, pair, and share works. I hope that I have answered.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I can see Shaista Muhammad has raised her hand. So Shaista, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me? Am I audible? Hello,
Yes,
everyone.
yes, you are.
This is Dr. Shaista, and I am a language educator.
Yes.
Dr. Sovik, thank you so much. It was very crisp and very, useful information that you have provided. Thanks a lot from the bottom of my heart. I just want to know some of the useful strategies or useful ways in which we can assess our language students. So it will be very helpful if you can throw some light on the assessment techniques that we can have. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, this was not a part which was included in my lecture. Although I can answer it. We have devised several new methods by virtue of which we have been assessing our current engineering students as well. I do hope that it will be equally applicable for your ma'am, and we can have some assignments. This is one which we have tried to put in. Since we are having technical courses out here, so we have already put them into some laboratory-based assignments, some laboratory-based exercises, which we have evaluated. we have been evaluating section wise, because normally if we do not go by section wise or chapter wise or outcome based, what we call as the learning outcomes of the course, we have gone this time with the outcome based assessments, especially so that they prepare one and a half chapters, and they come up with their doubts. We engage on doubt sessions, and after that they have been evaluated through some quizzes. Our quizzes were engaged in our learning management system, which is a LMS software, which we have it in our institute, which we had been using successfully, so that the questions can be shuffled as well as your options can be shuffled. So we have made either you can make your navigation being allowed, means we can see 1 to 10 questions at a time, or we can make them depending upon the difficulty level of the question. You can make them sequential as well, so that once they attempt one, they can go to 2. Once they attempt 2, they can go to question number 3 as well. So depending upon the difficulty level of the question, we have tried at successfully at both ends, and we have gone outcome by outcome, so that the learning outcomes are also being met. And we expected, as our expectation, we got some very good variation of marks, right from 10 on 10 to 1 out of 10 as well. So we have been getting an average which is varying between 6 to 7 normally. It depends upon the group which different instructors had. So this is one way you can try out with, if you are using any management system or learning management system. There are several softwares available in which we can assess the quiz. Of course, this can reduce your chances of cheating in this online environment as well. So we have been successfully able to shuffle the questions, shuffle the options, so that this can be assessed. This is one mode of assessing the questions. And questions were also shuffled in their end semester exams as well, so that their objective parts were different. Their objective questions are also shuffled, and they had the auto proctoring system through some VBox software, which we had been using recently. So there is no proctoring of the exams. There is no invigilation duty being provided by the different course instructors. So it's an online proctoring system where they are supposed to see the questions, and based on the time frame, they have to submit. Otherwise, if they fail to submit, they will be definitely that will be taken into account as auto submitted. So few students have faced this problem, because the exam started yesterday only, and there was a trial run only day before yesterday or before that. Within last two to 3 days, they have been tested with the software, and they had raised some issues. So let us think in a positive way that the administration will take up those issues and see to the genuineness of these issues as well. So this is how, ma'am, we can assess, so that it will be
Thank you, sir.
Equally applicable for your department as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Souvik sir.